Hello, I'm Eric Sorensen, and this is the West Block, Politics, Perspectives, and Players. When Conservative MP Scot Davidson is not on Parliament Hill in Ottawa, his go-to place is his landing boat on Lake Simcoe, an outdoor playground an hour north of Toronto. It's here where we caught up with Davidson and a neighboring MP, Alex Nuttall, to find out why this hill hobby is more than a hobby. Fellas,
Eric,
Scott,
how are you?
good to see you.
Good.
How are you,
Welcome
Eric?
to York Simcoe.
This is look at that. Such a pleasure to be here. And with two MPs, and you're both from this area, but on opposite sides of the lake?
Yeah, this is the riding at York Simcoe, which is the best riding.
Well, I was going to say the good side of the lake's just over there. But.
And you're both avid boaters.
That's right.
Well, I'm turning into an avid boater. I haven't been a boater for about 10 years, so it's Scotty showing me the way again.
Tell us just about this beast that we're on.
It's almost a landing craft. These are probably some of the toughest boats built in the world. And we're going to be going over to Chippewa's Georgine Island First Nations today, and obviously an island. I'm an avid fisherman, boater, and I love to snowmobile, four-wheel, and oftentimes, and hunt as well. And oftentimes we'll put a four-wheeler on the front of this if we have to go to different locations on the lake, and I can actually take it with me. No, it's great. We're going to have fun today and get out on the lake.
And you couldn't ask for better weather. Lake's calm and the sun's out. So
yeah, no, this is a good assignment.
No, that's it. This is the jewel of York Simcoe.
Scott, let's start with you. You live here, this is your place. You wanted to talk to us on a boat and take a ride out here. Why was that the kind of thing you wanted to kind of talk about?
I wanted to kind of give you a flavor of the riding and how important Lake Simcoe is to the riding, and actually to Alex's riding as well. This is the jewel of our community. I'm an outdoors person. I spent my whole life on the lake, so I thought it was an important thing for you to see.
What are your youngest memories, I guess, of being on a boat?
I'm going to say as long back as I can remember. Driving a tin boat with my uncle for the first time, to my dad taking me to an old marina, which thankfully I ended up owning for a number of years, Bonnie Boats in Jackson's Point, and actually renting a boat probably when I was 5 or 6.
What's important about the lake?
The most important thing is a lot of people earn their money off the lake, number one. It's for tourism dollars, it's very important to York Simcoe. As well, there's over 500,000 people that it provides drinking water to. So it's very important that we keep the lake clean. And as you know, I was recently elected in the by-election here, and that was one of the most important things that I wanted to see in our environmental policy, and I worked hard to get it, and thanks to Alex for helping. See, it's in our environmental policy as a pledge to bring back the Lake Simcoe Cleanup Fund.
Yeah, you're a little bit newer to I guess, boating, but still a few years, but you're living in this area now. How are you struck by the significance of sort of just living in the lake area?
It's beautiful. The quality of life here is unmatched. You know, your proximity to Toronto, your proximity to, you know, agriculture and the snow hills in the winter and all the things that you can do in this area. I mean, it's incredible. And
so where do you fellas come down then on a question like climate change and the policies that are necessary to preserve something like this?
Well, I think this spoke to the Lake Simcoe Cleanup Fund that the previous Conservative government had out, that unfortunately the Liberals canceled. It's boots on the ground climate change policy. There was over 200 groups that benefited from that fund. There was over 72,000 trees done. There was fish stocking that was done. There was invasive species, and we've really brought the lake back, but there's so much more work to be done, and that's why it's important to have boots on the ground environmental policy as well as the national policy as well.
the reality is the dollars were spent, they were spent wisely. For every $1 that was spent by the federal government, there was another $4 added from private sector, from municipal, provincial, and county governments.
Alex, you're you're finishing a rather brief career in Parliament, so let me just first ask you, why are you getting out so soon?
You know, there's lots of time to have a career in politics.
Okay.
And there's not lots of time to spend time with my kids.
Family is important to you as well, and living in this area, and your wife is First Nations, and we're in a First Nations land here on this island.
That's right.
Speak to sort of the issues that are important for her and for them.
There's transportation issues that they face over here. So healthcare is always an issue. So there's always federal programs that are needed to help out all First Nations, not just this one. As well, this island's been on a boiled water advisory for a number of years, which to me, had to change. And luckily now the federal government has stepped up and helped them with the new water plant. Unfortunately, the funding for that is only doing half of the island.
You have 5 ridings around the lake.
That's right.
The last election was a swing election towards the Liberals, and yet all 5 ridings remain Conservative. What is it about the area that kind of has a Conservative bent?
We're a collection of hard-working people, hard-working farmers, very much rural. And I think a lot of people always have the notion when you talk to them at the doors, York Simcoe hasn't got their fair share of federal infrastructure dollars. Right? We have internet issues, which I'm sure you do as well, and I think we need more federal dollars spent up on rural ridings for things like that. I think we have to look at them as highways now. Rural internet, much like you got Bell Telephone and Hydro. People are entitled to high-speed internet.
So Alex, as conservative as this area is, you've gone to Ottawa, you spent some time there. You've come away with a kind of a balanced view of how you see politics and partisanship.
I went to Ottawa, probably the most partisan you could get, and I'm walking away far less partisan. As a conservative, I have a set of beliefs. So do the other parties. So do the people in the other parties, and they care about their ridings. There's definitely some key differences, but there is a lot we agree on, and we just never get the opportunity to talk about that.
So just take me back onto the boat for a second. You've grown up with it. So what is it that I guess it means to you just to be out on the water?
It's a breath of fresh air. You know what, it's a nice time to just get out in the boat, especially with family, friends like Alex, and just a time to, clean your head and just a time to think. It gives you freedom, and I love this lake. I've been on it my whole life, and it'll always be dear to my heart.
Scott, Alex, thanks very much for talking to us.
It was a pleasure having you, and we'd love to have you back again.
That's our show for this week. From Lake Simcoe for the West Block, I'm Eric Sorensen. Thanks for tuning in.